Hey Columbus Academy community, so what makes a workout? Athletes, when you get your workout, whether you're in season or off season, how do I get to that end point of the workout? Where do I even start? There are a lot of things to consider when making an athlete's workout, but I would say these are my main five right here. The first one is exercise selection, which is largely dependent on movements, ability, and equipment. Fortunately, here at Academy, we have pretty much all the equipment we need, so I get to be really creative. But in terms of movements and ability and how they influence exercise selection, we'll talk about that in a minute. We also have load or volume, which is your sets and repetitions to consider and decide on. We have flow. We want our workout to be efficient and make the best use of our space. Time, which is especially important with in-season teams because we only get 30 minutes per session. We want to make sure we're using our time as best as possible. And lastly, COVID is definitely an influencing factor. We're trying to use the weight room in such a way that all areas are used of every workout so that our athletes can be evenly dispersed across all of the space that we have, and we're trying to limit the use of shared equipment. So back to talking about exercise selection, what do we mean by movements and ability? Well, if you Google fundamental human movements, you're going to see something like this. It might not be exactly this, but something similar. And so these fundamental human movements are my kind of skeleton for a workout. I want to make sure that we hinge in every workout, which would be a deadlift-like movement. I want to make sure that we drive, which would be some type of squat or lunge. I want to make sure that we push and we pull, and we have vertical pushing and pulling and also horizontal pushing and pulling to consider. Vertical push would be an overhead press as an example. Horizontal push would be like a bench press or a push-up. For pulls, a vertical pull would be like a chin-up or a lat pull down, and a horizontal pull would be a row variation. So we want to make sure we're doing those. And then also we do loaded carries in almost every workout to address the athlete's core. Carries or loaded carries involve adding weight to the upper body in some fashion and then walking under control, which challenges all the muscles of the core to keep us upright and with good posture while doing that. And that's a very important thing for all of our athletes, no matter the sport, is that they have control over their core and strength in their core. Lastly, you'll see some people list locomotion as a fundamental human movement. We do a lot of that. We want to make sure that we're doing all different kinds of movement in all planes of motion. So in every workout, we skip, we hop, we jump, we skip sideways, we shuffle, we backpedal. We do all of those things to try to give our athletes as many tools in their toolbox as they possibly can to use them out on the field or the court. In terms of ability, in terms of exercise selection, so we have all of these movements and all of our athletes do all of these movements every time they come in the weight room, but there are a lot of ways to achieve these movements, a lot of different exercises that fall into each movement category. And so for our younger lifters who have what we call a younger training age, regardless of whether they're 13 or 15 or even 17, if they've never been in the weight room before or have weightlifting experience, we say that their training age is 0. And so we pick exercises based on training age. So if their training age is 0 or just younger in general, they're new to the weight room, the exercises I pick to fulfill these categories are going to be more beginner type exercises that help teach these patterns. And then as they progress, whether it be with their team or when they're coming in as off-season athletes and choosing to work out, they'll get harder and harder variations of exercises that fall into each one of these categories. And so that's really the biggest thing, is that our athletes get all of these movements and that we give them exercises that fulfill those movements that are doable for them, but also challenging. The last thing I want to mention is that difference between the bodybuilder, the powerlifter, and the athlete, and why their workouts should look different and how. So a bodybuilder's end goal is to gain muscle size. It's about how they look. A powerlifter's main goal is strength, yes, but it's strength in 3 main movements: bench press, squat, and deadlift. For our athletes, yes, we want you to gain muscle. Yes, we definitely want you to get stronger. But your end goal is performance out on the field or the court. Your end goal isn't about the weight room. We need to make sure that you take all of the things that you do in here and that they make you a better athlete. So if you're training like a bodybuilder or if you train like a powerlifter, yes, you're going to get stronger, you're going to gain muscle, and those things will help you play your sport. but you are going to be leaving a whole lot on the table in terms of overall athleticism and performance enhancement. So that is what makes a workout. These are fundamental human movements, and that is why and how you should train like an athlete.